am Maggie, aka Watch Maggie Paint. I am a live wedding painter, and I am here to answer all of your most pressing questions. What is live wedding painting? Live wedding painting is where an artist shows up on site and from blank canvas to finished product creates a painting for the guests of honor and then gives it to them, and it becomes their first heirloom, which is really special. Before the advent of the photograph, this was the only way to have an image. It could be the only image you have made for you in your entire life. It's kind of a dying art form, which is why I really like to keep it alive and preserve it. What is your painting style? My painting style is very joyful, very impressionistic. I love to see brushwork. I love to see movement. I like to punch up the colors a little bit. I like a little more, I mean, you can see in the way that I dress, I like a little more saturation in a color. I want to feel joy. I want to feel some of the magic of the moment, not the way that it looked, but the way that it felt. And so that's the way my work is. I am not like a strict photorealist where it's like it needs to look like a photograph. I want it to look like a painting. I want you to know when you look at it, that is a painting. How did I become a live painter? When I was a kid, I was actually kind of shy. My mom told me to draw people to get to know them better. I always had a sketchbook in my hands. I was very passionate about art. And I started to draw people at school. You know, I would draw little portraits. By college, I was bringing paints to parties. By the end of my college, one of the people that went to art school with me was like, hey, could you try painting my wedding? And I was like, sure, yeah, maybe I'll like it. She actually invited all of our professors to her wedding as well. So it was like this crazy exam I didn't know I was gonna have to take. And I'm pretty sure that my professors were messing with me because they would like look over my shoulder and be like, do you really want to do that? Are you sure that's what you want to do? That's how I started live painting, and that's how I got into live wedding painting specifically. How much does a live painting cost? This question is a really important question because of course you are budgeting for the heirloom that you want. You have certain things you want in your painting. You want to know how big you can go. And so I like to show people this range for a typical live painting. This is also the range for my live paintings. You have to remember that not only are you getting custom artwork from a highly trained artist, but you are also getting a live painting performance. This painting will be created entirely in front of guests and it will entertain them. So the artist has double the pressure because not only do they have to make something beautiful for you that you can pass down, they also need to make sure that your guests are having fun and that it's a moment happening while your wedding is going on. What is the process of live painting like on the big day? I fly in wherever I'm going to be because I travel a lot as a destination wedding painter. I show up to the event about 2 hours before guests. I will be setting up, which takes a little bit of time. I film all by myself, so that takes a little bit of time, and then I prep the canvas and do a little bit of drawing. Usually a painting requires a little bit of math if there's perspective in the image. And then once the guests arrive, that's when I get to work. The performance starts for me. So that's when I'll have changed into my gown. I'll try and get my posture right. I'm chatting, hanging out, and then I am also actually laying down the paint that will be the final piece. Once I've finished the painting, which is usually during dinner or after dancing starts, I like to go get my couple and reveal the finished piece. Once I've revealed the finished piece, which is, of course, those reactions that everybody likes to see, I varnish my painting. I put my painting in a little tote and I put it with the gifts so it goes home with you that night. Where do you travel? I will travel anywhere in the world. Nowhere is too far. I have been from Africa to Asia to Europe to South America, literally all over the globe. I will go anywhere for you. It's part of the fun for me. I love to travel. If I can, then I'll stick around in your country a little bit after the wedding and try and see some sights. I don't always get to because I stay really busy. So sometimes I'm bouncing around the globe, but if I can, I like to travel a lot. Is travel included? Travel is not included in my fee because a wedding in South Africa, the travel is going to cost a really different amount from a wedding, let's say, in my home state. You know, as far as travel, it's the cost of the flight and a hotel for the night of the event so that I have somewhere to sleep after the wedding painting is created. I do not want to be homeless in my passion pursuit of creating an heirloom for you. Where are you located? I am located in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a Southern peach. I know I don't have an accent. It's really kind of weird. Or maybe you hear one, but most people tell me I don't have one. And my dad worked really hard to try and make sure that all of his 5 children had a minimal accent. He used to make us go, "How now, brown cow?" If I don't have an accent, it's It's my dad's fault. Do you use a picture or is it just memory? When I create wedding paintings, I actually am filming all of the wedding paintings myself. If you see footage of me during an event, that is me setting up little cameras and making my own content while painting the wedding, while talking to the guests. It's kind of crazy. I'll be doing like 4 jobs all at once. I have tons of video footage, and when I start figuring out what scene I'm going to paint, I just use the video footage that I have on my phone. I do sometimes work from memory, and I do sometimes change things. Like maybe at one point you'll had a dip kiss and the dip was beautiful, but in another one you were holding your bouquet a certain way. So I might combine 4 or 5 different moments in time to make the painting. And in that case, I really am working from my memory. The magical thing about paintings is you can have several things that happened in one day, all happening all at once in one image. Do you live paint anything other than weddings? Yes, I do. Sporting events, birthdays. I've painted Scottish distilleries. I mean, you name it, I've done it. And I love interesting requests. I've been live painting since 2009, so I have 15 years of experience under my belt at this point. And once I got married in 2013, that's when I started to focus on weddings. Not exclusively, but most of the time. I was blown away by how powerful my wedding was for me, how emotional it was, how significant in my life it felt, and what an incredible memory it was. I was one of those girls that thought I never would get married, and then I met someone that I wanted to marry, and I was like, dang, am I considering marriage right now? And every year since, I look back on my wedding with this intense fondness. So my art became very wedding focused. Can you paint from a photo if I send it to you? Yes, I can. That said, I do anywhere from 50 to 100 live paintings a year. You do the math. I might only be home in my studio maybe 2 or 3 days a week. And one of those days I'm definitely just chilling out and recovering. So portraits take me a long time. Sometimes it takes a year or so to get them out of my studio once I've picked up the project. I'm not saying no. If it's a cool project and I feel like I can be the artist for you to serve your family, obviously I want to do that. Do you paint my culture? I love this question, and the answer is yes. African-American couples, I get that question a lot. Absolutely, I paint you. LGBTQ plus couples, of course, it is my honor. Muslim couples, yes. Jewish couples, of course. Indian couples, Vietnamese couples, Nigerian couples, you name it. If I can, I will. What materials do you use? I use acrylic paints. And what's amazing about acrylic paints is they're dry by the end of the night so that I can finish a painting, varnish it, and give it to you. Everything I use is archival and museum quality because I want your painting to be passed down. I want it to last. Tell us about your upbringing. That is kind of a loaded question. Like, how long do we have? Like, can I lay back like it's a therapist chair? I am one of 5 kids, and I was raised in the Appalachian Mountains of North Georgia in this little town called Cartersville, Georgia, which I am very proud to be part of Cartersville's legacy. It's like one of those small towns. It's like from a movie. Actually, it's been in a lot of movies. So if you're watching this and you're from Cartersville, I love you. Hug my mama. My mom is a photographer and a singer. She's always been really creative. And my dad is a pastor of a Primitive Baptist church, and also he was an engineer for 35 years for Lockheed. And he raised us pretty strict. Like, we didn't have cable TV. For a while we were homeschooled. And so I think I sort of got the 1820s upbringing. I remember being in 7th grade and I was bored and literally there was nothing to do other than go walk in the woods or do math homework. So I read all of War and Peace, and my brother and I made up our own language, and we wrote a novel, and we read the entire encyclopedia. None of this is a joke. This is the way I was raised. Were you on Ellen? Yes, I was on Ellen. They wanted me to live paint against their assistant. Over the course of the show, I think I only had 45 minutes to make that painting. So it may not be the best representation of my work. Usually I get about 5 hours, but it was an honor to be there. And Ellen put me in the chair and she wanted to talk to me and ask me questions. And she gave me a hug and she smelled incredible. Why do you paint in gowns? Aren't you worried that you'll get paint on them? I'm gonna give you the answer I tell people, which is true. And then I'm gonna give you the real answer, because it is a performance when you're live painting. So it's important that I fit the vibe of your wedding. You worked really hard to create an atmosphere for your guests. So if you say I'm having a pink and purple wedding and it's black tie, I'm gonna show up in a pink or purple gown that is black tie. If you say it's black and white, I'm gonna show up in black because you're wearing white. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the one who took the note for the vibe that you're creating. It's important to me. But also the real answer is I probably have like a fashion addiction. It's my favorite thing to think about. I love clothes. I love the act of putting on a little costume for who you are that day and going out into the world and telling people what you're about without saying a word. Ooh, I love it. I could have a whole thing on just how I scour antique and vintage stores all over the globe looking for an item that blows me away. I love to collect random and unique pieces. Like, I don't care if it's $5, I don't care if it's $500. Like, I know a good thing when I see it, you know? It's not about the number, it's about the artwork and the craftsmanship. I practice what I preach, you know? Like, I make heirlooms, and man, when I find them out in the wild, if I find something cool, snapping it up. You'll see me on your Poshmark. What do you see yourself doing in 5 to 10 years? I'm telling you guys, I will be live painting until the day I drop dead. I'm just gonna say that right now. Will I also do other things? Maybe. Will I ever get rid of live painting from my life? No. Do I have to have a big event? Will you paint a small elopement? You don't have to have a big event. You don't even actually have to have an event. If you were that kind of extra person that was like, I'm gonna be in this flower field on a Tuesday in 2007, come paint me, I would say, yes, ma'am. Like, I have painted backyard weddings. I have painted small elopements. I have gone to the top of mountains in helicopters to paint couples. If you want it to happen, and I think it's a project I can take on successfully, I will be there. I'll do it. Are you happy? This question. I am happy. I am happy. Of course I have my struggles. I have things that I go through, but I found a passion that I've been doing my entire life, and I get to do it for a living, which is crazy to me. Like, I do not take that for granted, not a single day of my life. I think gratitude is really important, and I try to stay grateful for every job, for every day. I am one of those people that, like, I don't buy something and then save it for a rainy day. Like, the rainy day is today, you know? If you have something nice, if you have a beautiful dress you wanna wear, if you bought like really good china, if you have a special bottle of wine, like, go drink it, go wear it. For such a happy person, I do think about death a lot. Not that I want to die, but just that any of us could at any point. Like, you could literally walk out the door and get hit by a bus. Don't waste your life. You get one life, and it's happening right now. It's not a dress rehearsal. What are your tips for finding your passion in life? Ooh, you gotta listen to your gut more. You gotta get out of your head, and you gotta listen to your gut. I am very lucky that I had my gut screaming at me that I wanted to do this and make art early on. And honestly, guys, I had to carve out a career for myself. When I started live painting, I did not know a single soul that did it. I literally thought that I was bringing back something that hadn't been done since like the 1830s, seriously. And nobody knew about it. So when I wanted a client, I had to scream from the top of my lungs on social media, on Yelp, with phone calls, calling planners, like letting people know that this existed and this was an option. So if you really want something, if you have a passion and you're not afraid to pound the pavement to make it work, the sky's the limit. You can do anything. And if that sounds easy, then I'm not saying it right, because it's not easy. But if you need confidence and you need someone to say, you've got this and you are enough and you can make the life that you want, come back to this video as many times as you want, because it's something that I did, which is why I can say with 1000% confidence, it can be done. Thank you so much for your questions. This was really fun, and I can't wait to put out a weekly long format video so that I can show you all these weddings, all this romance, all the locations that I go to, the couple reactions, the fashion, and of course the artwork. I feel the love that I'm getting from you, and I hope I'm giving it right back. You know, stay passionate. I love you.